the supervisors, the coordinator of the NEP program, and the many people who are engaged in the NEP program. Really want to thank you for the demonstration of your determination and your commitment to your country and to your community, and of course to the many individuals who continue to assist on a voluntary basis in cleaning. We just had a team from Guadeloupe, and just to let Dominicans know that there are people who come to Dominica and don't come to complain. They come to help, you know, and there were some French people who came and who helped clean the Goodwood Secondary School so that classes could begin today. We could have classes today for more students. So they come here, they slip on the floor on a small piece of sponge in public buildings and private buildings where they have a little shelter covering from the elements, and they don't complain. They come, they're eager to help us to recover and to help us to have a better situation in our country. And that is the same kind of attitude which all of us, Dominicans here and Dominicans overseas, must adopt in these circumstances. That many of us can complain. I keep telling people I could complain about a million things every day, because those who know me know I would like to see things move much faster. I do not like to procrastinate on decisions and actions to be taken. So I could complain about many things, but to whose benefit? Who's going to benefit if I complain about everything in the system that has not gone right, or is not going right, or is going too slow? We have to get involved and push and do things so that at the end of the day we do not complain, but we make an effort to make a difference. And that is my hope and continued prayer, that there will be a elimination of complaints, and where we can help, we can help. It makes no sense that you sit in your comfort wherever you are and then just dictate and say, oh, government should do this, or this should do this, or the school should do that, and this is how they should clean the place, and this is not how they should do this. What's your contribution, my brother? You know, let us look at it. I just met with Dr. Shillingford this morning, who is here, and he's come here to speak to me about Ross University. He's come here to speak to me about contacts he has made with a foundation, and he is in his 80s. Went out to settle his wife, and he's back reporting for duty in his 80s. Served this country for how many years as a medical doctor? Remained here to help build Dominica, and when he should be relaxing somewhere with a large hat and enjoying his twilight years, he has come to look for me to say, look, I am here to help. I have settled my wife out, and I have no more distractions here. I am fully at the service of the state and so on. That's the kind of attitude we want. That's the kind of attitude we want. And so when I hear people say they cannot find me, I find it strange that the leaders in this country will say they cannot find me. Anybody can walk to my office, and once I'm in the office, I will see them. And many people have done so. And those who are really genuine about helping, who are serious about the country, and who are serious about their own responsibilities, their own national leadership responsibilities. And not to be out there complaining and even attacking the Secretary General for being a champion of Dominica. You know, we should all be singing the praises and expressing our gratitude to the UN Secretary General for taking time to come to Little Dominica. This is the first time in the history of the United Nations system that a Secretary General or even a Deputy Assistant Secretary General would have come to Dominica to visit us and to bring international attention to the situation in Dominica. And the Secretary General of the United Nations has agreed to attend and to speak at the Donors Conference in New York next month. You know, I am personally appreciative of the efforts of the UN Secretary General. He has demonstrated true leadership and a genuine concern. I didn't get the impression he came there just because he was Secretary General. He came there because he himself was convinced that the world needed to do something for Dominica. He himself is convinced that the UN system must step up to the plate and be an advocate for Dominica and Barbuda in respect to our recovery efforts and so forth. So we continue to be grateful to all of the UN people who are here, from UNDP and all of the different UN agencies, UNECLAC, and you name them, every single UNICEF, every single UN agency is here in Dominica. Every single one of them, working under difficult circumstances. You know, working with us diligently, advising us on certain interventions, doing the background work for us in many instances where we do not have the technical capacities to do it, sourcing help for us, Pan-American Health Organization. You know, all of these agencies are out there working for us, raising funds, knocking doors for us, and in some cases even breaking down doors for us to ensure that we can get all of the help Dominica needs at this time. And Dominica needs all of the help it can get. And my view is that if we as national leaders have nothing positive or constructive to offer, then we should shut up. We should say nothing and just continue to lazy about while the rest of us do what we have to do to help the many Dominicans. The many Dominicans out there who are looking for a better way of life and for hope. We have to give people hope. We cannot come in these circumstances when people are down, people are hurting, people are on their knees, people do not know what tomorrow will bring. They have no insurance to fix their homes. The little home that they spent 30 years to build for their families have been blown away and mashed up by the hurricane. Some people have lost loved ones. We have not been able to locate those loved ones. They may be covered in rubble, or they may have been washed away into the oceans, and they need some closure. We should be bringing comfort to people, not to distract them and to bring negative vibes to their minds and to their thinking at this time. And this is my appeal to those of us in national leadership in the country. So as I said, we will maintain the employment of the public service, but you have to work on the condition that you work. You as a public servant cannot not show up for work or be at your home cooking all day and eating all day while all the rest of us come to work every day for 10, 12 hours to work. We have to work. So I will not be tolerating any demonstration of laziness or indifference to people's national duty. We will do everything possible, humanly possible, and with the help of the Almighty, to ensure that we can get the resources to sustain the public service, but people have to work. Everybody has to work. And what I will say to you is that if you are not prepared to demonstrate seriousness about your duties and your responsibilities to yourself, it is about yourself and country. You're not working for anybody else, you're working for yourself and for your country. And what you put in, that's what you will get out. So if you put in diligence and commitment and dedication, you shall receive that. So we have to ensure we do so. My appeal to the private sector is that we should not rush to terminate people's employment. We must have a human conscience. It can't always be about the bottom line. We all have difficult circumstances. The government has not earned $1 single for taxation or for port duties since September 18. But we paid all our debts and all our legal obligations at the end of September, and we are paying all our salaries and all our legal obligations at the end of October. And we should not rush to terminate people who have been so good to us and for bringing wealth to us. You know, let us hold people's hands at least for the next 3 months so that we can all have a good Christmas. You know, in the circumstances, that we can buy our little ham and a little turkey and gather around the table as a family and have a nice Christmas and be able to decorate our homes outside and so with the little decoration that we have, and maybe we can use a lot of the logs and so on and see how we can use it to decorate for Christmas and use our natural thing and all of the solar lights, put them around the house, and we have Christmas lights. Some of the solar lights have different colors, so you can turn it on different color if you want, green or whatever color these solar lights have, and have a joyous and Merry Christmas. You know, so we have to hold people's hands as long as possible. Do not rush to terminate and so on, because most of you will be getting insurance money. Plus, some of you are also getting insurance money for loss of business. So the little more insurance money you get for loss of business, hold on to your staff who've been good to you, who's allowed you to make all of these millions that you have both here and especially overseas. Especially overseas. So, and of course, with regards to the insurance companies, I want to commend the insurance companies that have been paying out diligently and dutifully, but I would like to see an increased efficiency in the writing up of checks. These days you don't have to write up checks, the computer prints them for you. You just put them in the computer and just print out for you with a pre-approved signature. So let us roll out the checks as quickly as possible, so that we can use these resources, because the payments and payouts from the insurance is a critical component of our recovery. If this is delayed, then our recovery will be delayed. If it is advanced by way of efficiency, we will have a better Christmas and a better recovery and a more speedy recovery. But my hope to those of us whose properties have been insured, both commercial and private properties, that we use the resources for the purpose. Do not go and jump on the ferry and rush to St. Lucia and Guadeloupe and Guada and Martinique and elsewhere and use your insurance money, and then your house is still uncovered. Let us use the monies for the purpose to fix our house, our homes, to renovate and repair our businesses and restock them, and start back your business so that you can employ people, and so most of us can be employed in the country. So let us ensure that the insurance companies can continue to be a bit more efficient, because you see, when it's time to pay our premiums, you harass us, you hustle us. So now it's time to pay out. We should be hustling you and harassing you. So, but I don't think there's any need for us to harass you or hustle you, because you have told us that you shall be as diligent can be, and so let us roll out the checks as quickly as possible, so that we can rebuild our homes, recover our homes, buy our windows, and so forth. Now, on the issue of price gouging, this is really unfair, that people are now increasing the prices in a dramatic way. Where are our consciences? How are we going to go to bed, knowing that we put somebody who could afford something prior to Hurricane Maria cannot afford it now because you have increased your price by 100%? Can't be right. And there's no VAT, because people used to say the reason why prices are high is because of VAT. No VAT, there is no import duty. And I don't like the idea of, I had this stock before Hurricane Maria and so on. All of this stock are going to get mixed up to each other. And when you mix it up to each other, when you look at the average price, you will still make a big profit. And if you have a problem understanding how to make a big profit, let me come to help you put the prices together. But we cannot be telling people about we had this stock before Hurricane Maria and so on, and so forth, and then jack up the prices, or in some cases lead the prices prior to Hurricane. What I would like the businesses to do for, because the private sector likes to talk about transparency, because transparency is the biggest word out there in this world today. What I'm challenging the private sector to do, all of you with hardware and food stuff and so on, give me two prices. Show me two prices. Show me the pre-Hurricane Maria price and show me the post-Hurricane Maria price. That's what transparency is about. Transparency does not only reside with government. It resides with every single individual who is alive in this world. So let us put pre-Maria price and post-Maria price. So when I come in, I say, boy, Mr. Serious discount there, man. So let us challenge you on the issue of transparency, on how do you go about coming up with these prices and so forth. So let us look at it so that our people can see how you have not increased your prices. And this is not a personal attack on anybody or any institution or organization. I am just reflecting on the views of the public and the many WhatsApp messages I've received from ordinary working class people who have lost their jobs or who have been working on on a reduced weekly days, you know, from 5 to 3 days, and therefore the earnings would have been reduced and so forth, who've lost everything. Who've lost everything. So there has to be there must be a conscience of the nation, a conscience of our people, to see what we can do to help our people. I worshipped at the church in Point Michel, the Catholic Church in Point Michel yesterday, and I had the occasion to speak to the congregation. I actually came prepared, you know, to preach, hoping that the priest didn't show up, but the priest actually showed up, and therefore I had to speak from a different perspective. And I must say, Father Peter preached wonderfully, a very relevant sermon, you know, a very profound sermon. And I would have hoped, I would have liked for it to have been live at the time, so that all of us in Dominica could have listened to this profound lesson from Father Peter. You know, our African brother who is here as a priest, helping out in the vineyard of the Lord to pass on the message to us of the biblical teachings. And I had the occasion to go to Green Valley in Point Michel. It's a wonderful little part of Union Estate where it's very cool there. You know, it's got a low-lying area there and very cool, and wonderful people living there. There were some deaths there, unfortunately, but we have to relocate all of the people on the right side of the road. Every one of them must be relocated, and going down to Sibuli also, along the riverbed. Some people died there. You know, there's a young boy from Bakers who I knew very well, also perished in there. So we have to relocate all of them. We found some land in Point Michel, and that will be building some homes for them. But I had a meeting with the council and the disaster committee and those people, those persons who are responsible for the delivery of relief. And in that group was made up of people who are staunch opponents of the government, who are part of the council and who are part of the organization there. And they testified to me, they told me, so there's nothing whatsoever about discrimination in the delivery of relief. So what we're hearing about this in Point Michel and that in Point Michel, about this person didn't get or that person didn't get, is total foolishness. There is absolute transparency. People sign when they receive, and we can say to you, I mean, and if you have someone like Melvin, all of us know Melvin. Melvin Melvin tells you as it is. You understand? And people know Melvina's political affiliation, but Melvina has certainly demonstrated her commitment to her community at this time, and the level of cooperation between Melvina and the chairperson, who has come for tremendous praise in the community across the board. The level of praise that Mrs. Jules has gotten, the chairperson of the village council, is outstanding, and of course the leadership of the power up there, Honorable Dennis Charles. So they told me that there's nothing whatsoever about anything about discrimination and this person not getting and so forth and so forth, and so I was very pleased with that level of reporting and so forth. You know, because I said to the church, do you think I would deny somebody a food package because that person did not support me or doesn't support me? I mean, really? You know, so there's this whole talk about the political involvement on this thing, and people talking about, well, the government is going to keep the food there for the next election. Food has an expiration. They have an expiration date. And the worst thing I would like to do in election time is to give people food that expire. Can you imagine how many votes I would lose? You understand? So when I look at some of the items and so on, they have to go before the end of this year. You understand? I mean, the box milk can't stay for too long. I mean, you know, so you know, it's strange and so forth. But while on the issue of food and so on, I want to urge our population, watch what you eat and how much of what you eat, especially those of you with medical conditions, with diabetes and hypertension. You know, these canned foods come with a lot of sodium because they have to be preserved and so forth. So you need to be careful how much you eat, how much of flour you eat, because, you know, especially those of you with diabetes, and how many dumplings you eat in a day, you know, how many bakes you can eat, you should be eating. So all of these things we have to be very careful, because that can elevate, and we're seeing an increase based on reports, an increase in the elevation of people's hypertensive situation. So, and of course, people with diabetes, you have to be very careful. If you get a scratch, you need to run, not walk, you need to run to the health clinic to take care of this. You cannot have diabetes, get a scratch or get a cut and not report it immediately, because this thing can cause your death, you know. So I really want to urge those of us with medical conditions, be careful, be mindful of what we eat. Our health is first our responsibility, our individual responsibility. And I also want to urge family members. We know of our family members who have hypertension, who are hypertensive, who are diabetic, and we need to help them manage their health, because you don't want to get sick now. Okay. In respect to environmental health, with a lot of cans out there, you know, once we are through with the can and we have removed the food from it or whatever we have in the meat, let us bore some holes in the can so they do not collect water, because we have to help manage the spread of mosquitoes and the breeding grounds for mosquitoes. So we use a tin of peas and carrot. Let's bore some holes at the bottom of it so water does not able to accumulate in that can. Okay, and if you're using the bottle, we have to close the bottle so that water doesn't fill it, and so forth. So let us move in our areas, in our villages, in our homes, see where we have receptacles which collect water, or areas which collect water, stagnant water, and ensure that the water do not remain stagnant and be breeding grounds for mosquitoes and so forth. Because there are lots of mosquitoes out there, and the Vector Control Department of the Ministry of Health will do all it can, but individually we can do a lot to assist with the efforts and minimize the potential for any mosquito-borne diseases in our country. The least we want to do is to have any outbreak of anything in Dominica, to add to all our current misery that we're going through in this country. Independence Day is on Friday. We will have Independence Day, and the minister reported to you last week on the new program. We will have an economical service on that day to praise the Lord and to thank the Lord for giving us life and giving us so many friends that are helping us here in Dominica. The tremendous outpouring of support from the international, regional agencies and governments and individuals and corporations for the unity which continues to exist in our country in large measure, and the peace that continues to reign in our country. We have to thank the Lord for these things, because without Him, none of those things are possible. So we won't be having the regular type November 3rd celebrations. We'll have it with a difference, and the difference is bringing more of the Lord into the program, rather than just a prayer from the bishop and a prayer from Pastor Wilson, the president of the Evangelical Association. So we'll have more than that on that day, so that we can be filled with the Spirit, a spirit of love, a spirit of togetherness, a spirit of caring, as we work towards rebuilding our country on this very long journey back to recovery. Very long journey back to recovery. So let us appreciate that. Of course, the Saturday it will be committed of service. But what I'm adding to this weekend is Sunday, which will be a day of caring. A day of caring. And I want to say to the pastors and the priests and the religious leaders that we don't have to stay in church for 2 and 3 hours. Let us punctuate the praise and worship and the sermon from the pastor and the priest, and let us take our congregation to every home in the village where we have our church. and to ensure that we can visit every home and find out how things are with you. You okay? You have supplies? Your tarpaulin is up? No, and let the church. So we don't have to come to church on Sunday dressed with our nice outfit that we have been able to save from Hurricane Maria. Coming for jeans and a t-shirt. Coming for construction boots. So that we spend a punctuated amount of time at the church and then go to the village, go to the homes, and to be able to touch every single home. So you can imagine, in the city of Roseville, you have the Catholic Church, you have the Anglican, you have the Methodist, you have the church, Baptist Church there on Independence Street. Then you have the one Baptist Church up at Kings Hill. There's a small church there. It's been the oldest church, I believe, building there on this street there. I can't remember the street, but the street that goes along and joins up to King John V Street there. You know, you have all of these churches. The Pentecostal Church in Goodwill, the Church of Christ, Gospel Mission, Christian Union Mission. So imagine if all of us, churchgoers, and of course I'm calling you non-churchgoers because you're in the majority in this country, to participate in that effort. So if we all descend on Sunday, after having cleaned the country on Saturday, we descend on every single home. We can touch every single home and every individual in Dominica on Sunday if the churches join forces. The House of Nyabinga, I know you worship in the week, but you can join on Sunday. You know, the Adventist Church, I know you worship on Saturday. I mean, so if all of us join hands on Sunday, what a huge difference it will make in the lives of so many of our senior citizens, in particular, the sick and shortened, the disabled. To say that we know we're here with you. We're here as your neighbor. And invoking the biblical teachings that we are our neighbor's keeper. These are the kind of things that we have to do in Dominica if we're to truly manifest the view that we all hold that we are our neighbor's keeper. So I'm hoping that we can get a buy-in to this, a support of this initiative on Sunday. All of us will go to a home, you know, and we can touch every single home in Dominica. And what a beautiful sight that would be. So we go to church, we pray, and we praise and worship, and we give to the church our tithes or little Sunday collections, and then we go out into the community. So we'll be able to point out who needs the extra little help. What's the extra little help that person may need? There may be somebody who have not had anybody spending a little time with him or her since the hurricane, to comfort her, senior citizen. Sit down there and hear her tell us of her own experiences of the hurricane and help her laugh. And in the process, we can say a prayer together with her. So I am calling on the churches, the church leadership. I'm sure everybody is hearing me and is listening. And those of us who only go to church during Christmas time or New Year's time, you know, and or we had a dream and we go to church hoping that the Lord will give us a lot of money. Sunday's your day, my brother and sister. You know, Sunday's your day to really go out there and be a caring nation. Be a nation that's caring, a nation that believes in the supremacy of the Lord and the following in the works of the Lord, and by being our neighbor's keeper. Finally, the trip to Brussels and London last week, I came back to the country on Saturday. I left the country on Tuesday afternoon. I came back on Saturday. So you can understand how tiring that trip was. You know, I wish I could spend like some people 4 weeks out of Dominica, but I do not have the luxury of spending such a long period of time out of Dominica. And I wish I could have gone to other places and so forth. But I'm trying to manage my time between going out and being here to help coordinate things from a national front, and also take the opportunity to go out to as many villages as possible to meet the people and to hear from them and to speak to them about what the country is doing. So this week I will continue my outreach to the communities and I will go to as many communities as possible. I'm hoping to go to Pitchland, to Granby, and to Bacatel, and to Carnago Territory, and to Lapland and Dalis, and to Wesley and Woodford this week to meet the people there and the leadership in those communities, and to speak to them about what the government has been doing, what the government intends to do, and to solicit their understanding in the circumstances. And more important, to hear from them. What are your challenges? What are your complaints? What are the things you think we should be doing that we're not doing, so that we can amend things and change things based on the needs and the aspirations of the Dominican public. So the trip was very successful, I would say, and of course I will give details of this in my independence address on Friday. But I am very comforted by the continued demonstration of concern here and solidarity to Dominica by the international community. And I met with many of the people within the UN systems, and what was important is that there was no rushing of those meetings. People took the time to be engaged. You know, as a matter of fact, many of these meetings I had to call them to an end. People were very keen on listening and understanding the vision of the government and the plans of the government, the programs, and how can they fit into these programs? How can they assist Dominica? And they've been looking at within the system, see how much money they have within the system, and how much, what's the maximum can they give to Dominica in the circumstances. So I really want to say thank you to the European Union and all of the wonderful people I met, the commissioners who I met, the commissioners for agriculture, the commissioner for development cooperation, and all the other director generals there in the United Nations at Brussels, for the extraordinary efforts. You know, been really putting a lot of time into this and seeing how they can help. Of course, I have told them we need much more than what they are committing, and they have given a commitment to go back and to look further to see what they will give. But as you know, we have the donors conference on November 21 in New York, and they have given me a firm commitment that they will be present and they will be indicating their level of support to Dominica at this time. Also, I went to London and met with a couple of the ministers there. The minister for DFID, you know, and I'm very grateful to the UK government. You know, the Prime Minister Theresa May and a cabinet and the ministers responsible for development assistance and DFID, you know, very, very concerned and very, very committed to working with us, to helping us in the circumstances. You know, working with us to see what kind of more efficient mechanism we can utilize to get the resources to us much more quickly. So they're committed to doing so. They're looking at their own resources, and we must not be unmindful that all of these countries have their own challenges. You know, we have to be mindful of this. But there is a strong demonstration of solidarity and commitment on the part of the international community. You know, we just got word that the USAID, for example, has committed an additional $2.5 million US. You know, we're pushing them for more, and I'm sure the US authorities, you know, are also looking at that. But everybody has demonstrated a commitment to helping us, and what we're seeking to do is to share with them our vision, share with them our plans, get them to understand that we will need all of the money that is available, and very critically in a timely fashion, in a more efficient fashion, because we're 6 months, we're months away from next hurricane season, and we have to move with speed with the roofs of the people, you know. The Chinese government has been exceptional. They provided us with a lot of relief support. They've given the UNDP $3 million US to help with re-roofing people's homes. That should be rolled out very soon. I have just approved the framework for this morning. So we're well on our way to have it implemented. We got a call from the Chinese government indicating that they have 100 million RMB that we can use almost immediately again on top of this. And of course, they will be helping us further with some of the heavier infrastructural works and so forth. So people are, every government, every institution, you know, is really looking to see how we can help. And therefore, we as Dominicans, must not be petty with our politics. We must not be petty with our approach to governance of this country. We have to look at the national interest. And if we are being quoted as Dominicans, irrespective of our station in life, it must be something constructive. It must be something to say thanks to the international community. It must be something that will say, you know, we need the help, and we need the help now, and we need the support and so forth. We'll all have different perspectives. We'll all have different views. We'll all have different ways of doing. Oh, if I was the Prime Minister, I would do this. Oh, if I was the Prime Minister. The fact is, you're not the Prime Minister. The only Prime Minister can know what the Prime Minister is going through and has to deal with on a daily basis. Not if my ministers understand that. So, far more for somebody who is far removed from the government system. This is not an easy job, no. It was not before Hurricane Maria, and it's certainly not easy now. But I don't complain, because leaders don't complain. Leaders must not complain. Leaders must stand firm and stand tall and do what you must do in the circumstances. And I am not a person who complains. People who know me, I don't complain. I get very upset when things don't happen the way it should happen. Because I like to see things done and done with speed. Something we should not allow things to slip overnight. And wherever you are as a leader, you have a responsibility to solve problems. And if you can't solve problems, then you should move aside. And that's my approach to this and so forth. I want to thank all of you, and I look forward to Independence Day. All of us should come. All of us should come and fill the stadium. There's lots of seats at the stadium, lots of space at the stadium. All of us should come and show first our gratitude to the Almighty God for keeping us and getting us so far so quickly. For a small country with very limited resources. I believe, all things considered, we have done quite a bit. I agree in some areas we could have done more. That's fine. That's part of the process. But overall, I don't think we can be beating ourselves on the head to say that we have not done a decent job in the circumstances. You know, we must not forget what we inherited on the morning of September 19. We mustn't forget what we have to deal with on the morning of September 19th and where we are now. So yes, let's push, let's press on. I will articulate some policies in the Independence Address, some of the decisions we've taken to get things going. But let us continue to press on. So come out on Friday with your little madrasas that you have been able to keep safe for the hurricane, you know, and come out and show your gratitude to the Lord, and also your commitment to nation, your commitment to the rebuilding process, your commitment to your brothers and sisters in Dominica, and thirdly, to express our gratitude to the regional and international agencies, the many governments, the many volunteers who are here, the many forces who are here, helping us so dutifully and so diligently. You know, let us recognize that there are many fundraisers across the world, taking place across the world, organized by people independent of Dominica and organized by Dominicans in the diaspora, all seeking to raise funds for us, to see what they can do. And as small as it is, we shall receive. And as big as it is, we shall also receive. Because the little things, when added up, can make a huge difference in the lives of many people in this country. It can make a huge difference in our country. So we will not accept any offers. We will accept all offers, as small as they may be, because that will make a difference. You know, the old people have a saying, you know, say, "Gwen diwi ke afe sak diwi." You know, for those of you who don't speak Creole, I don't know why some Dominicans can't speak Creole. I mean, I understand the folks of Marigot and Yokokoy and so on, but the rest of us should be able to speak that. But Edison James can speak Creole and Kokoy too, you know. It is grains of rice that makes a bag of rice. And as they say in Guadeloupe and Martinique in particular, I say play with anuliti. Let us not cry. Let us work. Let us work dutifully, diligently, and let us serve our God and our country. I thank you, my dear brothers and sisters. Let us be positive. Let us not go around with our shoulders down and our heads down. Let us walk tall with the understanding and the knowledge that one day things must get better, as the local as the Jamaican artist says in his song. I understand. One day things must get better, and as the Bible says, you will pain will endure during the night, but there'll be joy in the morning. So let us understand that there's some pain, there's some suffering, there's some misery, but there'll be some joy at some point. Let us hope it is sooner rather than later. But it can only be sooner if we all join hands and do the little that we can. And here we have Dr. Shillingford in his 80s. Oh, how old are you, Dr. Shillingford, now? Because you look like 50, eh? I mean, 87. I mean, I want to look like you when I turn 50. You know, can we put him on the camera so that the world can see him, please? Can we switch the camera there? So, you know, this 87-year-old man, and he's reporting for duty. You understand? He's reporting for duty. Yes. That's Dr. Shillingford there. You can't get it, sir? You get him? Okay, that's Dr. Shillingford there, you know, who's reporting for duty at age 87. 87. You know? 87. And he's not paid by the state, he's retired. He's not here to look for consultancy. He's here to say, I am reporting for duty. There's some ideas I want to share with you as the Prime Minister for consideration, and I'm here. I want to thank finally the Dominicans in the United Kingdom. Really want to thank you. You know, you are a wonderful bunch of people. And the level of support which you have provided, the concern for the Dominican, for your brothers and sisters in Dominica, the mobilization of resources. I want to thank Ms. Charles and the staff at the High Commission office, you know, for your coordination and all of the wonderful people there, you know, who've been helping in raising funds. CS Global, who is our marketing firm for the CBI, who've been very helpful up in the United Kingdom. GIST, who has been GIST Shipping Lines, who have been a true partner of our development for over 100 years. You know, over 100 years. You know, you've been exceptional. I know you've had some challenges on the port, and we've been fixing that. But we're very grateful for your efforts. And there's a company called Rams, I believe, in United Kingdom. You know, but all of Dominicans, you know, the orderliness, the commitment, the genuine concern, you know, was exceptional. And all of the Dominican organized associations in the United Kingdom have been so diligent and committed, you know. And my interaction with you on Saturday, on Friday evening, was very reassuring. That we know we're having you a true partner, diaspora in London, in respect to our redevelopment efforts. So keep the faith, my dear brothers and sisters. The more we work together, the better things shall be. And as I said, one day things must get better. And they are getting better as the days go by. And certainly they will get better as the weeks go by. Thank you, and God bless our country. God bless all your families. And let us continue to be united in our efforts to rebuild this country. Thank you very much.
Dominica's Prime Minister, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt. And remember, there will be Independence Day address or addresses, and his address would be featured, a big feature. You can look out for that on Friday. He asks you to work. Certainly, you should work. Some people say all they have to do is pray. Well, not really. If we look for the Bible, we see all the people that in fact were given the charge of things had to work. Moses had to work. David had to work. Of course, Jesus had to work for 3 years with miracles and all of that before he got to where he wanted. We have to work. We have to pray. But remember, we must work. So today, from today, those of you who haven't started yet, join the club and let's get to work. Thank you.